Good evening. This is our evening of introduction to certification in aromatherapy. And I'm so glad to have Kate Brown here to talk with you all. And I'm going to turn the meeting over to her. And just looking forward to what she's going to share.
Well, welcome everybody. I'm so happy that you're here. And I know we've got a couple of our other instructors on, Kathy Pecci and Kate Petrie, and I think Deb Reese is going to join us later if she can. So you'll have several of us, plus Margaret, of course, to ask questions. And so we really, if there's any questions that you have at any time, please feel free to unmute yourself, pop it in the chat, whatever is easiest for you to be able to do. And we'll try to make sure that, we get everybody's questions answered, but it's not like it's so formal that I can't stop and answer a question. So please feel free to jump in with questions throughout. And then of course, we'll take time at the end to answer any questions and, help you with anything that we can along the way. So I'm going to share my screen and share some slides with you tonight as we're going along. And so we're going to start with sharing the slides. And I just want to start out by just really saying how excited I am that so many of you are here and that you're interested in talking about certification in aromatherapy. Tonight, we're going to kind of talk about the hows and the whys and the whats of becoming a certified aromatherapist. And again, if there's anything that I don't cover, please feel free to ask questions because we'd sure love to make sure that you leave here with all of your questions answered about aromatherapy certification, and in particular, Institute for Spiritual Healing and Aromatherapy certification program. With that, I am a certified clinical aromatherapist. It's an honor that I've had for the last 14 years, and I've been a member of the ISHA staff for about 10 years now. And I have had the privilege of sharing this amazing work with hundreds of people around the country. And tonight I get to share some of the reasons why this program is so special with all of you. So I'd like to invite you throughout to make ask questions, make comments. And we really want you to feel like you have a good sense of what the program can bring to you and what certification can bring to you in both your personal and your professional life with that. The use of plant-based medicine is in the form of oils can be traced back at least to 6,000 years. And it's gained a great deal of popularity in recent years. When I started working with oils about 20 years ago, people didn't know what they were, including me. I'll tell you about that in a few minutes. But now it seems like everybody at least knows what they are, and even if you're using them a lot, but I bet a lot of you here tonight are using oils in some way, shape, or form in your practices, in your personal life, and or in your professional life. So NAHA, who is the National Association of Holistic Aromatherapy, who is one of the organizing bodies of aromatherapy in the US, and we are an approved school through them, says that aromatherapy is defined as the art and science of utilizing naturally extracted aromatic essences from the plant to balance, harmonize, and promote the health of the body, mind, and spirit. It's an art and a science that seeks to explore the physiological, the psychological, and the spiritual realm of the individual's response to these aromatic extracts, as well as to observe and enhance the individual's innate healing process. So doesn't that sound like something we'd all like to have a little bit more of in our life? I know, like every day I think about that when I grab my oils, that this is what they're doing for me. And a little later in this presentation, I'm going to talk about our take on kind of how we look at aromatherapy and some of the things that ISHA does that might be just a little bit different. So I wanted to start by just kind of sharing my story with you. And, my story is that I've really been an animal lover my whole life. They, along with my sisters, were my best friends when I was a child growing up on a farm. And even today, my animals continue to be something that provides me with so much. They provide me with so much joy and happiness in my life. And they've always helped me find answers to my own struggles in life. And as they often do, they were how I came to essential oils. But 18 or 19 years ago, we had a mare that had some issues. She was in pain and always had a grumpy disposition. And we met a vet at a horse show who suggested that we use essential oils for her along with some chiropractic. Neither which we didn't know that they did chiropractic on horses back then and had no idea what essential oils were. Completely new to us. But it seemed like this was a better route than what our personal vet was suggesting that we do, which was something that we knew was going to shorten her lifespan. So I went out every day and I put the oils on, and they really seemed more like smelly water because I was using things like lavender and helichrysum and lemongrass that weren't very viscous, and they seemed more watery than oily to me, and they were very strong to smell. And I started putting them on her back where this vet had suggested that we do that. And about a week later, we went for chiropractic, and we were just amazed because within a couple of weeks, not only was she feeling better and was in so much less pain and was able to work again in the show arena, but she was getting along with the other horses. She had a much better attitude, and her personality totally shifted, and it stayed shifted. It wasn't just for a short time. It really allowed her to be who she was. Some of it, of course, was that we got her out of pain, but some of it was we also helped her to balance. I know now, I didn't know then, emotionally, and some of those behavioral issues that were going on. We were sold. We were within a few weeks, we were sold. At least we were sold for our animals. It actually took me about a year before I bought a bottle of oil for myself. I didn't really get back then that when I was using them on my animals, that I was also using them on myself, and they were helping me in different ways. But my horse story is really a perfect example of how essential oils work on multiple levels. Yes, on the physical, but also on the emotional, the mental and spiritual levels, so that it can help all at the same time. I didn't have to go out there with the intention that this was going to help what was going on with her back and her legs and her grumpy personality. In fact, we had no idea that it was going to help with that, right? It all happened at the same time. She started to heal. And when we heal naturally, we heal on all levels. And that was like the beauty and the big aha for me. So now when I finally started working with them for myself, I was really struggling with depression and anxiety and PTSD. And I had some physical issues that went along with that too. And so when I started to use oils regularly, I was able to get off 7 different medications. And while I know this isn't always what happens with oils, it is something that when we use our oils properly and consistently, that we see happen for many people because they feel better on so many levels that they are sometimes able to reduce or eliminate some of their medications and certainly able to live a better quality of life. When I decided to take the Isha classes, I admit I came in for my own education, my own gratification, so that I would know how to use oils better. I had no idea back then that I would become a certified aromatherapist, let alone that I would actually go on to become an instructor in the Institute for Spiritual Healing and Aromatherapy, their courses. Or that I would own my own business with an emphasis on using essential oils and essential oils education. Essential oils brought me this life. They strengthened me. They helped me find my true path. And they connected me with my inner truth, allowing me to share my love of essential oils with my community in an even bigger way. I believe that Institute of Spiritual Healing and Aromatherapy's courses became my catalyst to change my life. And I believe they can assist you in changing your business, and changing your personal life too. So let's talk for a minute about Isha's vision and our mission and how that might align with what it is that you're doing in your life. So Isha's vision is that is a world where everyone recognizes and uses their God-given gifts of healing for themselves and in service of others. That's our underlying vision for everything that we do at the Institute for Spiritual Healing and Aromatherapy. And our mission is to ignite healers worldwide, providing resources, support, and education through our programs in the art of energetic healing and aromatherapy, rooted in the laying on of hands, prayer, and anointing. How many of you feel like that is something that aligns with what you're doing in your life and in your practices? Yeah, anybody want to raise their hand or share for a minute? Yeah, thank you for those of you who feel like that is, because I don't know that I would have known that when I first took my first class, but I certainly feel like it's a very big part of everything that I do now. And for most of us, I'll bet most of you are in that caretaker archetype, or somebody who loves to take care of their community. Not just, and maybe sometimes forgets about taking care of yourself. Anybody else do that? The great thing about using oils with your people is that you get to take care of yourself even when you're taking care of everybody else, because the oils really do help on both ends when you're using them. Let's go back and just talk about our mission a little bit more. So our program offers you a lot of things here for resources, and I'm not going to go through everything that we have, but just a few things.
It's about every American who's represented by Trump in the system. That's exactly who they're talking about.
Margaret, could you mute everyone? Thank you. For resources, we have a great network of aromatherapists who we share our love of oils and commitment to working with essential oils with our community. We get together on a regular basis with things like our quarterly Heal the Healer program and Called Into Healing program. And there's all new things that we have popping up all the time. We have resources on our website like aromatherapy books that we think are great for you to go, and there's links to go purchase them. And we have an association with an organization called Lab Aroma that can help support you in your studies of aromatherapy. And in fact, that's something in the upper levels of our classes that we actually incorporate as a part of your classroom work that we give you. We give you support. We're here for you every step of the way. We have a dedicated support person who helps assist you with your certification and homework process. And we have a special ISHA membership that meets every week. And once a month in the fourth Monday of every month, we meet, or the third Monday, we meet specifically about business and how we incorporate essential oils or healing work into our business. And the fourth Monday is when we talk about certification. So if you're going through the certification process, you can be networking with other people who are also going through it and be supported by the ISHA staff in your work along with certification. It's such a great option to have, not something that was there, I might add, when I was going through the program. Wouldn't have you loved to have had that, Margaret?
That would have been nice.
Plus, we have the Circle of Care that meets twice a month, and you can come on. There's so much great self-care and introspection that you can work with our Circle of Care program. And it's a great way to get to know our amazing staff, as well as other aromatherapists that might not have been in the class that you took about aromatherapy. And the last one is that we spend a lot of our time talking. What we're going to talk about here for the rest of the evening is education. ISHA, not only do we believe in providing you with a quality educational program for your certification, but we have a whole plethora of other programs that will help you keep up with your continuing education after your certification too. So let's just take a few minutes to talk about our certification program and what that means for you. So let's start out by talking about who is certification for. I mean, really, certification can be for anybody who's a fan of essential oil. As I told you, I started out, I thought it was just going to be for me and my animals, and it ended up that I share it now with lots of people, right? Because certification will change you and it will help deepen your connection to what you do in the world. But most of our people who go for certification will fall into a couple of different categories here. We've got nurses and healthcare professionals, people like counselors and therapists, massage therapists and body workers, people who work in the holistic and energy practice. They have their own practices, or they work with a team of practitioners, or sometimes even on a clinical staff, like in an institution like a hospital. And then we get a lot of people who are essential oil team leaders, that they have, they work with people on their team to help them to understand essential oils, and they can share with them. So let's just take a little bit closer look at each of these different categories. So many of our healthcare organizations these days are looking for opportunities to add complementary therapies into their services. And like most positions in healthcare, they want to know that their complementary services are performed by properly trained professionals. We have the ability to be able to assist you in not only knowing how to use essential oils safely in a clinical setting, but also which oils can help the most for physical issues and stress and emotional concerns and more, and all the things that accompany that. The Institute for Spiritual Healing and Aromatherapy's program not only offers certification for healthcare professionals, but we also provide continuing education credits for RNs who take the program. So you actually can get your nursing CEs while you're taking this program. As nurses, not only do you serve your patients, but you also serve your community. And that can be hard to do without utilizing good self-care. Essential oils are a key tool to provide stress relief and relaxation, which is why your institution might want to be considering adding essential oils into their repertoire anyway, right? They're cost effective and they're easy to use. As certified aromatherapists, you would be able to move up the ladder and therefore up the pay scale potentially, and you not only would get to serve your patients, but you would also get to assist your staff and your colleagues in their own self-care routine. Is there any of the nurses from our staff on board here that want to say anything more? I don't know if Deb was able to join us yet.
She's not here yet.
She's not. Okay. Well, maybe afterwards she'll be on there. And that I know, Kathy, you're working at a cancer center at a hospital in Iowa, doing aromatherapy.
Yes. Yep.
You want to talk for just a minute about how that works?
Sure. I'm doing monthly classes at the Nassau Cancer Center in Cedar Rapids, and we do different mixtures and blends, and every class I've had has been full. And what really makes me happy is I have staff on board and they attend the classes as well. So that's my goal, to get them trained further, little bit steps at a time, but it's been great. It's been great.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being willing to share that, Kathy. I
You're
really appreciate
welcome. You're welcome.
it. All right. Now let's talk about a little bit about massage therapists and body workers. So many massage therapists are taught a little bit in school about essential oils, but most of the time it's not really a well-rounded education that will really assist your clients. The massage therapists that I talk to say, oh, they learn a little bit, they maybe have a one-day class, they maybe learn about 8 or 10 oils, but not like the in-depth education that you would get in our certification program. They may have trouble distinguishing which essential oils to use for different situations. And big thing here, for nurses and massage therapists and all of us really, is how to use them safely. Having a certification in aromatherapy will set you apart from the other practitioners in your community who don't understand how this tool might be able to enhance their body work. Massage therapists who are skilled in aromatherapy have a way to add another service to their menus, and you're going to know the right oils to use for the right condition or situation. Your clients are going to be happy to pay you for your services, and I'll bet they'll start referring people to you too, because when you can help them even more by adding in the right essential oils, they're really going to love that massage even that much more. And who doesn't love a good massage? I know I do. Holistic and energy practitioners. There's many people out there who have a practice either full-time or part-time doing healing touch, Reiki, cranial sacral, and so many other energetic modalities. Adding essential oils to these modalities can be a real force amplifier to the work that you're already doing. And I know we love this. In fact, Institute for Spiritual Healing and Aromatherapy's program, we teach the energy system right along with the other systems of the body. We would love to help you enhance the work that you do by showing you how essential oils can be added to your services. Your customers will love you for it. I know mine do. Both people and animals love when I work with the oils with them. And you can use aromatherapy as an upcharge or an added charge for your therapies, create custom blends for your clients to purchase, and have many more options to offer your community, creating more clients for your practice. And our last group are essential oil teams. Some of you may have an essential oil team. This can be, involve a lot of you providing resources for all of those people who you work with, who are part of your team, and probably in building your team. And good quality education can be really hard to find with all the rules that have to be followed on different websites and on social media and all of these different places. With this program, not only can we provide you with great resources, but we can also help you within the program. We can also help you find all kinds of resources outside the program. I mentioned Lab Aroma. We have some books that we highly recommend or required reading for the course, and you're going to find so much information, and you're going to know where to go when somebody asks you a question, or where to refer them to when somebody asks you a question. As an essential oil team leader myself, I constantly have people from other teams asking me for my advice and help. And while I love helping people, there is a time when I simply have to say, hey, you need to go talk to your own leader. Unfortunately, the answer I hear too often is that their leader couldn't assist them because they didn't know. This is the perfect opportunities for team leaders to be able to step up their own oil knowledge and really help their team members, and in turn, make their whole team more profitable. So I just want to take a minute and stop here and just ask if anybody has any questions before we move on to talk a little bit more about our program, or have any comments. I don't see anything in the chat, but does anybody have any questions, or does anybody fall into those categories, or does anybody fall into a category I didn't discuss that maybe we want to?
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
So I'm an esthetician, and I work face and I do body contouring, but I also do the aroma touch through those.
Okay.
Do I need any outside of the aromatherapy certification? Would I need any other type of license to practice this?
So we never like to talk about what you need in your particular state or area, because every state and every city, even sometimes cities, counties, have different regulations that you have to do. But this is not only, and I'll talk about this here in a minute, but a national and an international certification program. It is not a certificate program. So I'm going to talk about the difference of that here in a minute. So this is really the only thing that's out there as certification. There's not licensure in aromatherapy like there is, say, in massage therapy. So if you have a license to touch already as an esthetician, this should really give you a lot of credentials to work with those, to work with oils in those different modalities that you're already offering, in a way that really makes you a professional in the aromatherapy world, just like you're a professional esthetician. Does that
Okay.
help?
Yes, it
Okay.
does. Thank
Great. All right, great. Thank you. And thanks for bringing up another great place to where people use aromatherapy. Anybody else have a question before I move on? No? Okay, well, if you think of something, either throw it in the chat or just interrupt me and we'll talk about that. Okay. So let's talk about the ISHA difference. So ISHA offers a unique certification program. And so I do want to talk about this. First and foremost, I do want to be really clear that it is a true certification program. I see so many things that are out there, and we all do, and they make them sound like they're a certification program, but they're really just, you get a certificate of attendance for going through the program. There's really a big difference. Certification means that you meet the standards and are approved by the organizations that oversee that modality. In our case, aromatherapy. So in the case of aromatherapy in the US, there's two different bodies that oversee schools of aromatherapy. The first one I've already mentioned, National Association for Holistic Aromatherapists, or NAHA. And the other one is AIA, Alliance of International Aromatherapists. And we are an approved school through both of them. Plus, ISHA, we decided we should go one step further because we also have a program in Australia. And now that we teach online, we have taught people in other countries too. So we wanted to have international certification also. So we are also through an international certifying body called IFPA, International Federation of Professional Aromatherapists. So with us, you get not just US certification, but also international certification. And so just like we teach you about the importance of using high quality oils in our program, we want you to understand the importance of true certification for your aromatherapy courses, because I see an awful lot of programs that are touted out there that sure make it sound like they're certification, and when you really check into them, they're really not with that. So I just want to call that to everyone's attention. And we offer 3 levels of certification. So as you take each, we have 3 levels of courses, and as you take each level, you actually can become certified in each of those 3 levels. Level 1 is a certified aromatherapist. Level 2 is a certified professional aromatherapist, and level 3 is a certified clinical aromatherapist. Like that's what Kathy and Margaret and I are. Kate Petrie's on the call here. I know that she is, she's our director of education. She certainly is one too. So the certified clinical aromatherapist is really designed for people who work in some sort of clinical practice. This might be in an institutional setting like a hospital or a clinic, or it might be that you have your own solo practice, or it might be somewhere in between. Level 1 and level 2, especially when you take both of them, are perfect for entrepreneurs, team leaders, and all types of home users, because we cover all of the body systems and we cover so many oils in those first 2 programs that it's really perfect if you don't want to go on to the clinical piece. And some of you may definitely want the clinical part of that in level 3, but some people may just think that the 1 and 2 are enough for them. And a lot of people it is. We've really beefed up levels 1 and 2 from where they were when I took the program. And, now we teach almost everything we used to teach at all 3 levels in the first 2 levels. So it's really a lot of information and a lot of great resources for you. And the courses themselves offer many things that other programs do not. I see a lot of certification programs that maybe talk about 20 or 30 oils. I even saw one recently that only talked about 10 oils in that. In our 3 levels, we cover over 70 different essential oils. That's a lot of essential oils to talk about. We talk about their properties on a physical level, studies about the oils, how they affect us on an emotional and mental level. And we want you to really value essential oils for how they work with the whole rather than with the parts. And as my story about my horse demonstrated early, they can do that all at the same time for us. And we believe that essential oils are one of the most powerful tools we have to work with our spiritual self. In fact, the origins of the Institute for Spiritual Healing and Aromatherapy's program comes from spirituality. Isha started using oils in our Healing Touch Spiritual Ministry program as a way to include anointing along with our energy work. So many people loved working with the oils that our aromatherapy program was born. The frequency of working with essential oils can provide a deep spiritual connection. In my personal case, I was pretty spiritually bereft when I came to my first Isha class. And I walked out of that class with a deeper spiritual connection than I had ever experienced in my life. And I continue to feel that way every day. It shifted my life to a whole new level. And I hope you aren't in the same place that I was back then. But however, wherever your spirituality is, I feel confident that working with the oils from the healing perspective that we teach will provide you with a deeper spiritual connection. In this course, we teach 10 different physical body systems, but I like to say that we teach 11 different systems because we also teach the energy system, the understanding that we are energetic beings and how essential oils affect our subtle anatomy is often one of people's favorite parts about taking the Institute for Spiritual Healing and Aromatherapy's program. We not only teach you the basics of the energy system, but we also teach you techniques to work with the subtle anatomy with essential oils that will bring you a whole new set of skills to use for yourself, for your family, and for your clients or team members. And we don't teach from a recording. We teach our aromatherapy program live, always live, whether you're in person or on Zoom. Whether it's over a weekend or you take the class over several weeks, we are with you face to face, answering your questions, interacting with each of the people in the course, and allowing you to interact with one another. We think that this is so important to actually acclimating and integrating all of the information that we have to share with you in our aromatherapy program. Are there any questions at this point? Anything I didn't cover you'd like to know? Okay. Well, if anybody has lavender around, or if you have another oil, you can use that too. But I just thought it would be fun to talk about just one of our common oils tonight and talk about some of the great properties. I'm not going to go into a whole thing. I could easily talk for over an hour about lavender without even looking at notes. It has so many incredible properties and so much that you can work with. But I just thought it would be cool tonight to maybe talk about just one oil a little bit, just a little taste of what you'll find out about the oils in our class, and doing a little experiential. So if you happen to have a bottle of lavender nearby, or if you have another oil, you can do that for the experiential part. It's just going to take us like a minute, so it won't be anything too long or drawn out. But I wanted to share a little bit with you about one of the many oils that we will talk about. So let's take a look at lavender for a minute. So this is, everybody probably know, if you know about essential oils, you probably know about lavender. I know everyone doesn't love lavender, but most people like lavender. And it is an oil that's really versatile and really adaptable. And I'd like to share just a few things about lavender with you that I found, and an easy way that I found to work with lavender from this program that I use all the time in my own life and in my own practice. So there are many different types of lavender. The most common lavender is called Lavandula angustifolia. And yes, you're going to learn a little bit about botany in this program. We're going to talk about the botany and the families that they belong to. But the lavender that we most commonly use is lavandula angustifolia is also sometimes called true, common, or English lavender, even though most of it is grown in France. I always think that's funny that it's called English lavender, even though most of it used to all almost come from France. Now it's kind of branched out a little, but there's actually over 30 different species of lavender. So you have to know what you're using because the chemistry of different forms of lavender can be varied, and it really can have different properties and different reactions depending on what type of lavender that you're using. Lavender is created by a process called steam distillation, which we'll cover in depth in our program, but they do it with the flowering tops and the stalks, and primarily it's harvested in July and August. And the very best oil comes from distilling just the flowers when they're in full bloom. Do you know that lavender has been being used for almost 2,000 years? The earliest mention of it in literature was from between 40 and 90 AD, so almost 2,000 years ago. And it's possible it was being used even before that. We just might not have found or have written information about how lavender was being used prior to that. And lavender is one of the most studied essential oils that are out here. This is just a short list of some of the positive studies have been shown for lavender. It can be used as an analgesic to help with pain, for inflammation. And it's a great antimicrobial, anti-anxiety, dementia, and so many more things. There's a real wealth of good studies with lavender and how it can be used. And the mental, emotional, and spiritual properties of lavender are so vast. These are just a couple of things. It's been known to help with worry and negative self-talk. It can help create emotional stability. It assists with feelings of disconnection. It's great to help communicate from your heart, to truly communicate who you are with compassion and with love. Ever have to have a tough conversation? Well, try putting on a little lavender before you go and do that so that you can communicate in the way that you want to with that. It's just so great to be able to use all of these things. And one of the coolest properties about lavender is that it is an adaptogen, meaning that it's really good for promoting balance on every level. It can be uplifting or sedating, depending on what you need in the moment. And when you're using it for something, say like pain, it can also help with the emotional stability and irritability and bring balance at the same time that you're using it to help with the painful situation. So that's always great that it works on all those levels at the same time. And it's a great oil to blend and to make your own recipes. And this is something we teach you how to do in our courses, is how to do all kinds of different ways of blending with our oils. In fact, we'll not just share recipes with you, and we will share some great recipes with you, which we probably, if you're like us, you probably love to get recipes, but we'll also help you understand how to blend so that you can make custom blends for you and for your clients. I put a little, suggestion here that we could blend lavender with bergamot and cedarwood for stress. So I use this recipe. I put 4 drops of lavender, 3 drops of bergamot, 3 drops of cedarwood into a 10 milliliter bottle. I mix the oils up. I add in some jojoba oil, and I will put that on my feet at the end of a stressful day. Or sometimes I put those 3 oils together and put it into my water-based diffuser. Don't put the jojoba in if you're going to do that, to promote relaxation during the day or at bedtime. And that can be a wonderful way to work with our oil. So that's just one tiny little way that we could look at blending our lavender and using it for just, one thing. And it will really help you. By the way, there's some great studies on lavender and sleep. It's one of our big sleep oils. So I'm going to ask you if you have a lavender nearby, or if you have any oil, it doesn't matter. And if you don't, that's okay. You can still just work with this. And because even just intentionally doing it, but if you have an oil nearby, or if you can grab one quick, if it's lavender, great. If it's something else, but I just wanted to kind of, show you here what we could do really easily. So before you open up your oil and even get that out, I want you to take a moment and think of a word or a little phrase for how you feel right now. And then I want you to rate your stress level. So 1, you don't feel any stress at all. And 10, you're totally overwhelmed. And probably for most of us, I hope we're somewhere, in between, maybe closer to the 1, but hopefully we don't have a lot of 10s, but just think about that for yourself. How do you feel right now? In a couple of words, how would you rate your stress? And then I want you to open your bottle of lavender. And I want you, I'm just going to back up a little bit so you can see a little better. I want you just to take a drop and drop 1 drop into your hand. And notice as you drop that in there, how it smells, what you can smell as it's coming out of the bottle, as you drop it into your hand. And once you have it in the palm of your hand, I want you to just rotate your palms and notice what you can smell. If it smells different, if it smells stronger. I always feel like when we do this, that I'm opening up the scent of my oil when I'm rubbing it between my palms like that. And then I just want you to take a smell. So bring it up closer to your nose. If you want to, we like to do something we call a scent tent, where we kind of bring our hands into prayer position where they're open in the back and bring it right up into our nose. So we're not touching, you don't have to touch your face or anything, but it just allows you to really breathe in that essence of lavender in doing that. And don't go so close. If it feels too close, then come out a little bit. Do where it feels comfortable for you and take a few deep breaths. And then I want you, when you're done breathing in the lavender, I just want you to start brushing the lavender around your body. Don't touch your body. Start up over your head and just lightly, gently, not too fast, not too slow. I want you to just brush around your head, around your shoulders. If there's some place where you know that maybe you're holding some tension or stress in your body. And I know we can't reach maybe all the way around, our back and stuff, and it's okay. We can go through our chairs. And if you want to bend over all the way to your feet, great. But you don't have to. You can just let your hands come down and intend for that to go all the way to your feet. Just notice if there's any place that feels like I've got just a little niggly headache going on. I'm going to come back over here to the right side and just brush around that area a little bit more. And then find a place to bring your hands, just to bring them to still. I'm just going to put them at my heart. If there's someplace else that feels better, that's okay. Maybe you want to put them in prayer position, wherever that feels right for you. Keeping your eyes closed or soft. And just take a moment here, kind of go within. And I want you to think about right now, what is a word or a couple of words that describe how you're feeling? And then I want you to rate your stress again. 1, no stress. 10, totally overwhelmed. And when you feel like that's complete, Take a couple deep breaths. Let your eyes come slowly open. And bring yourself back into focus and present again with our Zoom meeting here. Would anyone like to share what that experience was like for them? Did anybody's number go down? Do you feel more relaxed and less stressed? By the way, we didn't, about a minute, we did that, about a minute. Does anybody want
You're
to share
welcome
their?
to unmute and.
Yeah, you
speak.
can unmute or you can put it in the chat, whichever you feel comfortable with. But yeah, we'd love to hear you if you would like.
Yeah, I do feel
Anybody?
less stressed and I feel hopeful, more
Oh,
hopeful
Awesome.
that I can use this more on a regular basis, use the lavender and yeah.
yeah. Isn't that cool? I remember the first time in class doing this. We used to do this to finish out our Friday night and class, and being just like amazed. I had no idea because I'd never used my oils like this. I had always thought about them more. Yes, they helped on those levels, but I used them physically, right? I never thought about it using them this way, not putting them on my body or in a diffuser. Thank you, Beverly. So that was so nice of you to share that. Anybody else would like to share their experience? Was
In
this
the
brand
chat,
new?
Joyce
Oh,
Paxton said, I feel more balanced.
awesome. Yeah. And Lyra said her stress levels at 100%. I hope that was before, not now. I hope it's a little better. Anyone else want to share? It was before. Yay. Oh, that's good. I hope it's a little better now. But think about this, that you could do that anytime during the day. Just take a minute, grab your lavender, spend a minute closing your eyes and brushing it through your field, the electromagnetic field of our body, right outside our body, and how that can shift it. We're smelling it, we're interacting with it. And that's something that Isha really brings in to our aromatherapy program. Kate Petrie, I know you're on the call. Would you be willing to unmute and kind of talk about how essential oils have been something that, how they've helped you in your personal life, in your spiritual life, in your professional life? Because I know they have for all three.
Well, since we've kind of gone over, talking about using them with various professional lives, I'd like to speak to how I've used them in my church and have enriched the Bible stories that we run across in church when we are talking about using oils in Scripture. The first time I asked the minister to let me talk about oils and bring them in was around Christmas. And we talked about, frankincense and myrrh, and everybody's familiar with the Christmas story. So that was good. But the most profound time that ever happened was on Good Friday, and we had done the Stations of the Cross as our prayer for Good Friday. And I'd done it for several years, and this particular year I asked if anybody wanted to be anointed with myrrh and sandalwood, which were the oils that were used to anoint Jesus's body before he was laid in the tomb. And so at the end of the service, I just stood aside, and anybody that wanted to be anointed came up and did. And we traditionally go outside to visit, and sort of leave the church in silence. And I blew out the candles and walked out on the porch and found everybody in a pond of tears. And I thought, y'all have heard this service before. It was no different than it is every year, except for the addition of the oils. And I said, okay, what's going on? And they all turned and said, smelling these oils made it so real to us. And so we have done a lot of anointing in our church now, and that I do work on the people at church physically, for their physical ailments. We have healing services and so on, but enhancing our spiritual life of the church with the oils is very dear to my heart. So.
Thank you for sharing. That's a beautiful story, Kate. I know I've heard it before, but it still brought a little tear to my eye hearing you tell that again tonight. So thank you so much. And I know, Kate, you're a massage therapist too. And so I know your skills with aromatherapy has really enhanced your massage therapy too, correct?
Oh, very definitely. Actually, it's been also a gateway. It's enhanced the massage therapy, but it's also been a gateway to bringing in the energy work into the massage so that I can do combination sessions, because people like the aromatherapy so much they were willing to give the energy work a chance also. So
Nice.
oils kind of were the cart before the horse there, so to speak.
Yeah, I love to call aromatherapy, call essential oils my catalyst, because a lot of time they're where I start and they're the catalyst to make my decisions, right? It's not the only thing
Right.
that I do. It's not the only thing I'm even, skilled with, but it is my foundation. It's where I go from. It's where I started in my journey is with essential oils. And I just love how that, just like you said, that it really is a catalyst that allowed your clients to be open to other things. So that's so cool. Is there any questions from anyone in the audience, or Kathy or Deb? Do either of you guys have something you'd like to add or share with the group? Thank you so much, Kate.
You're welcome.
I have a question on allergies. People who have allergies
Mm-hmm.
and to certain ones, or maybe they don't know if they have. I mean, I don't know where the question is, except how careful do you have to be with people who might react to.
Yeah, and that is something we cover a lot in class, Beverly, is how to work with people safely. We think that's really important. And it is something that is a big chunk of our curriculum through all 3 levels of our aromatherapy program we talk about the difference between what's an allergy and what's a detox. And sometimes oils can bring up emotional, like, Kate's talked about in her church, how they can, they can work with, bringing up some emotional feelings, some spiritual feelings. So sometimes that happens, and we need to be prepared as practitioners in using those oils, how to do that. So we cover that in depth in our program. We give you forms to use, and we talk about how you need to keep records and organize with that right along with that. So yeah, we do cover all of that part and for me to be able to answer that question in its entirety here, we'd be on the call for a long time. You guys might not like that because it is a question that goes into a lot of different areas. So, yeah.
Hey, there's a question in the chat room.
Okay.
Thank you.
So how are the classes organized, and are there cohort groups? So the classes, we have classes that come up all the time throughout the year. You can either take them on Zoom, or sometimes we have in person. We'll talk about that here in a couple minutes, some upcoming classes and different ways that you can join them. And then we have these ongoing programs. We have an ISHA membership if you want to be a part of that, or we have Circle of Care programs. And Kate is our Director of Education. And so she is in charge of helping you through the homework and that whole process to all the way to the, getting you certified in the program. So, and we are, I know we've talked about and hoping to have some more aromatherapy certification calls, maybe on a more regular basis to help everybody who's looking to go through certification. So I don't know, did that answer all your questions, Joyce? But if not, please, if you want to unmute or, yep, okay, good. All right, anyone else have questions? Or Deb, did you want to say something? I know you put your face on for us to see here, but I don't know if you wanted to share anything.
Well, I was just going to share the importance of certification, and I will say just from people who are looking at types of doing this in a healthy way, either for yourself or if you're actually using it as part of a practice, how important that certification is, because it does identify you as having specific information, education, within your scope of what you're doing. So whether that is for friends, family, or if it's moving into your church or moving into a healthcare organization, I think that really does give credibility, but it really does give you the confidence that you are really being able to practice in a specific way that you can feel very good about for yourself as well as what you are doing for others. So I just want to kind of mention as far as the importance of that.
Yeah. And maybe you want to share that you brought aromatherapy into a hospital group and started in one small department and kind of blew it out to the whole hospital group, right?
Right, yes. So, and of course, we start always, it just seems like our staff at the time were the guinea pigs, but when COVID hit and we couldn't really work with patients a lot, because it was like in and out, get them in and out. Staff became the main person that we were working with, people we were working with. And so I'm seeing that even more so, how we might be able to do, or how we might be able to help those who are in professions like nurses or therapists, even pastors, people who are really doing service type work need help in and doing things that can be quick yet effective. And aromatherapy can be effective in a very quick manner as long as you know what you're doing and doing it in a very safe way. So yeah, bringing it into the hospital is probably one of our most popular interventions in the complementary therapy world. So it is something that we may use with other modalities like the laying on of hands, but it is something that people really do resonate with.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Deb, because for if anybody here, works in a institution like a hospital or a clinic, to understand that, some of us have been there, and I haven't, but Deb has. And so we do have resources to be able to help you and support you going forward if that's something that you're looking at doing. But we believe that you need to, have the education and the professional
Absolutely.
status behind you first, before you're going to go and say, hey, we want to do this in our hospital, or we want to do this in our clinic. So yeah, thanks.
And
Deb.
one wild thing that I want to share, excuse me, I have an awful cold, but there's two modalities that I work with my certification in aromatherapy. I teach classes for cancer patients, and it's just been amazing. The knowledge, the sharing, and all of those things. But I also do horse massage, and I learned from Kate on using essential oils with animals. And there's so many different things that you can do. And the knowledge that I've learned over the years and sharing, hey, Kate, what do you think about this? Or Deb, what do you think about that? The community of the aromatherapists here is just amazing. and it's wonderful.
Thanks, Kath, for throwing that in there. I agree. I mean, the networking, the community, the being able to share with other people. And here are I mean, I never teach a class where I don't learn something from the students in my class, because they are using an oil in a way that I never even thought about before. Or, haven't read a study. There's not a study, or it's not in any book, but they just found out that that works really well. And, I have found that, like, wintergreen essential oil works really well with poison ivy, and like that's probably not in any book anywhere. It just was born out of desperation of helping my mother when she had really bad poison ivy. And so sometimes,
Excuse me.
yeah.
Excuse
Yep.
me, can you please elaborate on the wintergreen and poison ivy?
Well, I put it in a carrier oil, and she put it on. We actually sprayed it because we didn't want to rub it and move it. And so we put it in a spray with some carrier oil, and it really was the thing. And now she knows if she starts to get a little spot of it, she keeps it in the refrigerator, and she takes it out and sprays it, and it works great. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, if you get poison ivy, I get it. That's that's a big deal. So, but you're probably not going to find that in a book. It's just something that I found out, and now I get to share that with the people who come to my class. So we do want to just share a couple more things with you, and then any questions or anything else that you might have, we're happy to answer. If I can't, Deb or Kathy or Margaret or Kate can do that. But we do want to share a couple of offers with you tonight that we created, especially for those of you who came here with us. And the first is, we want to talk about our aromatherapy certification class. This is the place to start. Getting a great foundation and working with essential oils. And we've got a couple of upcoming classes. I'm going to be teaching a level 1 class starting on Wednesday, May the 10th. And this class is going to go from 6 to 10 Central Time. So if you're Eastern, 7 to 11, we probably, some nights will get done a little earlier than that. It's going to be for 7 consecutive Wednesday nights. And this is a great way to take the course and not have to dedicate an entire 3 days to it. We know sometimes that can be hard, so we want to give you an option. This is going to be taught live on Zoom. And I really love sharing the class this way. And many of the people who have taken it with me this way have found that they were able to integrate the information as they went, instead of having it all come in all at one time. So that's our first class that's coming up. And if you either grab that code that's up in the corner, and Margaret's going to be sending all of this out in an email, or you can use your camera and grab that QR code, and you can go right to the page where you can sign up for these. And then our instructor, Kate Petrie, who we just heard from, who's also, as I said, the head of our education department at ISHA, is going to be doing a weekend class. So if it's better for you to go and get it all done at once, that's how most of us took our classes. And is a good way to take the classes too. But that's going to be in person in Knoxville. And is that going to be on Zoom too, Kate? So can you go either way, or is it just in person?
It will be.
It will be. Thank you, Margaret. So you can either take that one in person or via Zoom. So whichever is best. If you're near Knoxville, or if you want a weekend away, I love in-person classes, and it's so great if you have the opportunity to take an in-person class, because you really get to know the people in your class and get to network with them, and get to, bend Kate's ear on at breaks and on lunch hours and stuff, and get to talk with her a little bit more too. So if you want to do that, that's going to be June 2nd through the 4th. So that's our next 2 upcoming level 1. And we do have some other level 1 classes that you can take further out in the year. If this isn't a good time for you, you can still sign up and use this 10% off. 10OFF is the code there. I know with the 0 and the O, it's kind of confusing, but 10OFF, and you can go to ishahealing.com/aromatherapy-options, and you will get right to those courses so that you can sign up for them. And then the other thing that I do want to let you know about is that we do have our 7th annual aromatherapy retreat coming up. This year, our theme is beauty from the inside out, and you do not have to be an aromatherapist. All you have to do is want to know something about oils to come. If you are an aromatherapist, that's great too. But we're always excited to share with you tips on how to use essential oils and energetic modalities for your own self-growth, and then to be able to take those back home to share with your clients, your team members, your family. And this year, we're going to be working with so many cool things: reflexology, energetic skincare, breath work, opening our imagination, building our dreams, bonding with your animals can make you healthier. Everything is just all these things, and we're going to put an essential oil twist on everything that we talk about. And we live stream this for you, because we know not everybody can come in person to Central Illinois, but we do this we've got a dedicated live stream support person, and you get lifetime access to the replays too. So if you have to miss something live, you can do that. You're going to be able to ask questions live of the presenters via live stream. And we really hope you can, whether this is your first venture with ISHA or you've been with us through some of our programs already. Oh, and by the way, one of our special guest presenters this year is the president of ISHA, Margaret Leslie, and Kathy Pecci and I will also both be presenting there. So we're really excited about that. And we have a special offer again, just for you guys tonight. You can use this code here or oops, I guess I did that backwards. Let me go back here a second. Oh, this one here. You also save $100 tonight off of the live stream, and you get my 2-part course, Essential Oils for Skincare. So Essential Oils for Skincare is such a great opportunity for you to learn all about how to use essential oils for skin, for hair, for nails, and more. It's 2 hours, or probably even a little more than 2 hours worth of content, and you get immediate access to that if you sign up for our live stream. Both of these offers expire on April, I think this one says, yeah, April 6th. So April 6th is when that expires. You can use, again, this code or snap the QR code, or you can just go to that page on the previous. If you go to this QR code, both of those options are going to be on there for you. You can either sign up for aromatherapy, for the retreat, or for both. So questions, or I see there's a few comments in here, so we'll take a look at that. Oh, thank you. Margaret put the link in there for the page. Thank you, Margaret. Somebody asked about wild bergamot grown and processed in the area where I live. My question is whether this old essential oil is included. Oh, it most certainly is. Bergie and I are such good friends. It is actually one of my most favorite oils, Beverly. I have a personal relationship with her. I have it sitting right here on my desk next to me. So yes, we cover that in level 1. It is one of the 30 plus oils we cover in level 1. So she sure is. And I feel like she's a woman. So not all the oils I think are women, but bergamot I feel like is. So I refer to her as she. So any other questions, or PJ, I think you might have just joined us. We'll get the replay out to you.
Oh, good.
Yeah, but if you have got any questions that we can answer.
No.
No, and you will get a follow-up letter, an email outlining and giving you the links to the things that Kate has talked about. And you'll also get, within a couple of days, you'll get the replay will be sent out also.
Good.
Yeah, and I just popped our web address, our website, and our email. So if somebody has a specific question or something that they need, please feel free to reach out to us so that we can answer that. Again, both the 10% off the level 1 class. Oh, by the way, just right before this, Margaret and I decided right before everybody got on, that I was going to throw in my spring reset course for anybody who gets to level 1. And you'll get that right away when you sign up. It's about an hour long. And I know Kathy has done that, and I think Deb, and but it's a really great thing to do this time of year, and kind of, you know, as we're moving into spring and summer, and kind of being like, hey, we want to grow, we want to, you know, kind of like tearing off, you know, get all those heavy winter clothes off and kind of brush that away and get reset for the coming year. So we just decided that right before we jumped on the call. So we're going to throw that in for you too, along with that 10% off on the level 1 classes. So any questions, anyone? Any want to know anything more about the classes, or if there's anybody, you know, Deb or Kate or Kathy?
No, just thank you all for joining.
Yeah.
It would be a great community to have you join us. Thank you.
We do appreciate all of you being here tonight. And
Yeah, we know your time is precious. So, you know, we do appreciate that you decided to spend your hour plus here tonight with us. So thank you so much. And we hope the little lavender made you feel better, that you feel maybe a little bit more fresh, or maybe a little more sleepy, that you're going to relax and have a really amazing night's sleep tonight. I know lavender is really good for helping me do that.
So, and feel free to unmute and.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you for the information. It answered a lot of my questions, and I'm still thinking, but this was really helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Joyce, for being here and sharing.
Yeah, thank you, Joyce. And if you have any questions, please reach out. If something comes to mind afterwards, we really are happy to either hop on a call with you, or, you know, get back with you via email, or whatever's best way to communicate with you. Anyone else?
Well, I'm going to stop the recording.